Hello everyone, this is Monday the 1st of February and it's our first literacy lesson of the week. So today we are going to be planning the newspaper reports that we will be writing tomorrow, okay? But first of all, we've got our new letter string for our spelling rule. So it's the O-U-G-H. And this can have many different sounds, okay? So here are just a few examples. The or sound is in thought, bought. It can make the uff sound as in rough, tough, and enough. It can make the ow sound as in plough or bough, like the bough of a tree. Making the o sound as in though and although. And it can make the oo sound as in through, okay? So there's many different sounds, lots of words for this rule. So we're going to be on this rule for 2 weeks till the end of term, okay? So in your best handwriting, please, can you write down all of these words for our new spelling rule? Pause the video now, give yourself 1 minute to make sure you are copying these down correctly in your best handwriting, please. Okay, so got a little challenge for you here. Can you unscramble the O-U-G-H words? So on the left side of the screen, I've got some scrambled up words that we will have just seen. Can you unscramble these words? There is one on there that wasn't on the list as well, so it's going to be a toughie. Pause the video, give yourself 5 minutes. Don't worry if you can't find them all. They are tough. I did have to get Mrs. Jones to help me with a couple of them. So do have a go, give it your best shot. 5 minutes now. Off you go. Okay, I'm going to reveal the answers for you now. The first one was tough, that uff sound, but it's O-U-G-H. Then we had rough, enough, cough, trough, though, dough, donut, borough, through, and throughout. Okay, so did you get all of those correct? Do you now see the ones that you didn't quite manage to get there? Well done, everyone. Okay. So, as I said, tomorrow we are going to be writing our newspaper report. So we need to plan beforehand. The more we get on our plan, the easier we will find it to write our actual newspaper reports, okay? And I would like these set out when we write them up as proper newspapers. So you could have like a little picture and caption in the corner, and we're going to talk a little bit about that today in our plans. So things we are going to be including, all the things we've been looking at the past week, okay? So we're going to have some direct speech, some indirect speech. We will have links between sentences. We haven't really looked at that this week, but that's something we do in our writing all the time. We always talk about that. So we should incorporate that as well. Your orientation, we did lots of good practice on our orientation, the who, what, where, and when, right at the beginning of your newspaper. And then a couple of examples of the passive voice. That is aimed at year 6, year 5. If you'd like to give that a go, by all means, go for it, but don't worry too much about it. So, first thing you need to do, make sure you got your pen and paper. Get your can I and date down. And we are first going to look at our headline and our orientation. Now, you can actually write these down now, and I would set it out as I have done here, or you could do like a spider diagram or something. I like to do it like this because then when I'm writing it up, I can just put a little tick through all the sections that I've already done. Okay, so it makes it really clear so I can follow along with my plan. So your headline, you're going to need something that's going to draw your reader in immediately. Often headlines are alliterative, aren't they? So I've got a couple of examples here for you. You might have your own headline. Fantastic. I'd love to see that. So I've got, but if you can't think of one, here are two examples, and one of these you could just take for your own. I've got the Troy ploy, which was from our example text, and then tricked in Troy. You might have another headline you could think of about the wooden horse, or I don't know, about Odysseus maybe. So have a think about what your headline's going to be. And then we've got our orientation. So I've just written down the side there, the who, what, where, and when, because that reminds us exactly what needs to be in that opening section. It only needs to be a sentence, 2 if maximum, but you can fit it all into one sentence. So I've actually already written mine out ready for tomorrow, and mine goes something like this. Last night at midnight, the city of Troy was attacked by the Greek army in a daring act of subterfuge. Okay, so pause the video now, give yourself 3 minutes, maybe longer, you might need 5. Think of your headline and to write down your orientation. Off you go. Okay, so you should have that planned out now. The second thing we need to look at is paragraph 1. So paragraph 1 is all about what happened and in what order. Okay, I don't need to write that whole thing out now. It's just a plan. So I am writing notes for myself. So I have written down 4 little bullet points there of what happened in this story and in what order. So my notes are: the Greeks have been trying to enter Troy for years. They appeared to surrender and gave the gift of a large wooden horse. At night, 30 soldiers crept out and signalled the ships to return, and then the Greek soldiers took over Troy. Now, obviously, when I'm writing that up, I will turn those points into full sentences, okay? But that's why at the bottom, I've also written down some links that will help me link those sentences together. So I've got later that day, after the boats had turned around, once the horse had entered the city gates. So all good sentence starters there that link our writing together, make it flow nicely, okay? I've also put on the side a couple of examples of the passive voice that you could include, okay? There had been reports of, it has been suggested that a giant horse had been delivered to the gates of Troy. You might be able to think of your own examples. If not, put in 1 or 2 of those, and then jobs are good and you've done the passive voice in there, okay? So pause the video now. This might take you 6-ish minutes, 6-7 minutes. Pause the video and plan out your paragraph 1. What are the notes to yourself that you're going to note down about what happened in what order? Have you got any extra links you might want to add? You could probably think of lots and lots more. And remember, the more you put down, the better. You don't have to use it all. Tomorrow you'll think, actually, that bit goes better with the sentence I've just written. I'm going to not use those. I'll use that bit. And that's what it's all about, okay? So pause the video now and get down your plan for paragraph 1. Okay, we should have done that now. So paragraph 2, now this is all about our eyewitness reports. So people who were there at the time. And this is where our direct and our indirect speech comes in, okay? So I would like you to choose 2 people that you are going to have as your eyewitnesses. So here I've chosen Odysseus and a local Trojan. Now that could be someone who owned a stall. That could be someone who lives inside the palace. It could be anyone, okay? It's up to you. Decide who those 2 people are. And what I would like you to do for those 2 people is write 1 example of direct speech. So something they have actually said, and you are using speech marks for that one. And your indirect speech is no speech marks, and they are reporting to you, okay? So for example, I've done my example for my local Trojan, and then below I would do my example for Odysseus, and then I've got all my speech sorted and I know that's what I'm going to include. So here I've done for my local Trojan, my direct speech example is going to be this. A local Trojan who was awoken by the noise of battle cries told us, "I couldn't believe what was happening. The whole city was being overtaken." Now your quote could be anything, okay? Just needs to be a short snippet like that. And then my indirect quote for that, and I might choose to use my direct, I might choose to use my indirect. It's totally up to you. A local Trojan reported to us that they woke up to their city in ruins. And I've just put a little note at the bottom of the phrases that I might use. Reported to us, told us that, commented that, okay? So pause the video now, and this is where you will need to write your eyewitness reports, one for maybe a local Trojan, one for maybe Odysseus or one of the Greek soldiers. It's up to you, but you need an example of direct and indirect speech for each of them. So this might take you 7 minutes again or so. Pause the video, off you go. Okay, moving on. This is our final section. So we have got our reorientation. So our reorientation is at the very end of our newspaper report, and that ends the retelling and it ends the witness reports and it brings us up to date. So it tells us what's happening now, or the latest at the scene, okay? So I've actually written mine out. You could have a go at writing yours out. It might not be the one you use tomorrow, but it's certainly a good start, isn't it, to have something down that you probably might write. So this is my example. We have tried to reach the King of Troy for comment, but so far we have had no response. Does the fall of Troy signal the end of his reign? So you might want to end it on a rhetorical question. Again, you don't have to, it's completely up to you. And that reorientation just needs to be 2 sentences, okay? I've also drawn, well, took my little snipping picture there, a section for what my picture is going to be and what my caption is going to be underneath. So I'm going to have a picture of the Trojan horse, and my caption underneath, a picture of the 30-foot wooden horse, okay? Yours might be a picture of Odysseus, and you might write underneath, the Trojan horse was this great general's idea, or something like that. Or you could have a picture of the city of Troy and talk about how, and say something like, the walls of Troy are however many feet tall, making it nearly impossible for armies to enter. You might just want a little caption like that. So again, it's completely up to you what caption you want to do. You might do 2 pictures and 2 captions, okay? It's completely up to you. So give yourself about 5 minutes just to sort out your reorientation and what picture and caption you might include. Okay, so that is everything, everyone. So hopefully you've got a really detailed plan, and that makes it just so much easier to write tomorrow. Okay, well done, everybody.